waking up in the city of Posadas. This piece of the jungle is pretty flat, but there's a tall viewpoint on the top of the hill we're gonna check out today. I'm glad you guys love each other so much. We'll see you soon.
Check it out. So to get up this huge cross, it looks like we take one elevator, another elevator, and then we had to pay an extra 100 pesos to do this one. And we'll go up way up into the cross. Should be sick.
Oh, we're not gonna walk at all.
Well, I mean, there are some stairs, so maybe on the way down, if you want to do that.
So right now we're basically at the top of the trees.
I am not sure, but I think I heard yesterday at the skate park that this is the highest point in the state.
Oh my god.
The province of Misiones here. And with the cross you go even higher, which I love a good view like this.
Yeah.
Don't even need the drone.
Wow, it's so much farther up still.
Oh, don't fall off, Hat.
Ah. Jungle. Almost completely above the trees. That's pretty nice.
Yes.
Oh, so is that the mariposa?
Ooh, Emily's fixated on the butterfly thing they have.
Okay.
Here we go. So now we're going all the way up to the top of the religious symbol here. Man, so the first elevator was 4, the second elevator was 5, and this one just says 1, but I mean this goes like way farther than the other two, so I'm guessing we're about 20 stories up here. I'm almost feeling like a little fear of heights. I never get
Me
that.
too.
Watch your step, I guess. What? Oh, right under your feet. Emptiness. Well, my phone wouldn't fit if I dropped it though. We were having a little flashback for a sec to Antarctica when Emily lost her sunglasses. She said, oh, better be careful with these things.
Yeah. I mean, at least these ones are only 1,000 pesos, so like
Yeah.
$2.50.
She got these on the street.
USA.
Oh, they got some kind of stars there for you?
Yeah.
And keep those safe, babe. So you can see the Misiones province here, kind of the state of Argentina, is definitely got some elevation change, which is nice. It's been so flat lately getting to this point. And I heard in the middle it's a little more mountainous, so I guess that's kind of what they meant, like just these hills. Oh, there's your butterfly place, Emily.
Yay.
That looks nice.
Okay,
You want to head down?
yeah.
I wish they let me climb up that part, or this up here. Oh, she won't let me.
Character.
Yeah, I think he said something about the soaps, los jabones, something. I don't know.
What?
I think he was saying he felt very scared. I'm not quite sure exactly.
That was definitely lost in translation. That joke.
Got another subscriber up there. The lady who works up there.
She's like, you guys are far away.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Lately we've been speaking in Spanish, kind of. We get less attention.
See.
It's just kind of nice speaking in Spanish. But let's check it out. It's definitely butterflies. In addition to the orchids, got the secure double entry doors.
Wow, look how beautiful.
Oh, that is cool. You love the butterflies?
Yeah, this is a really cool little stop. I think I liked it more than the view.
Oh, this one's closest to actually escaping over here. Wow, so when we got back to the van, Sombrita was raring to jump out. And this is the scene inside. We left her some treats in there. Graham was on the fridge. You want to come outside for a minute? We just gave them their anti-flea stuff, anti-tick flea, because there's gonna be more bugs here in the jungly area.
If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. It's free for you and it really helps us out.
So behind us here is the mission of San Ignacio. This is the oldest Jesuit mission in the area, and Emily looked up the story.
The Jesuits got here around the 16th century.
The Jesuits are, of course, a sect of the Catholic Church.
And at the same time, the Guarani were being...
That's the indigenous group who created the mate. They're the ones who popularized mate.
They were just living their lives. And some slave traders came to take them from their homes and bring them...
Pretty messed up.
So they talked to the Spanish king about having this kind of like a safe space for the Guarani. So they started arming them and giving them guns and gunpowder so that they could protect themselves against the slave traders.
At the cost of giving them diseases.
Yeah.
You know, they were working, but they weren't like slave labor.
They were kind of in control. They could still have their shaman and stuff, but he was controlled by the Jesuits. So it's basically like they took their culture away, but at least they weren't being traded as slaves. Yeah, we aren't really like one hundo about that.
And it honestly also seems like a tourist trap. Like people were yelling at us as we drove by and everything.
Yeah.
Kids were even yelling at us.
Trying to get us to buy stuff, stop places, jumping in front of the car to get us to park somewhere. It's just like too much for me.
But it is a big part of the history here. You know, this is called the Misiones State, missions, which is, the name is from the missions. And yeah, the missions were protecting them from slave traders. Later they had to move south a bit because some slave traders came from Brazil. Next we'll be seeing where Che Guevara was born, which is an extremely divisive figure as well. But some pretty divisive issues around here. You got Che Guevara, you got the Catholic Church, the Spaniard conquistadors. I'm half Spanish, you know, but yeah, I'm kind of excited to see the Che Guevara spot. Even though, you know, for some people he is quite a negative figure. But very interesting for sure.
It just kind of feels like going to one of those re-education schools in Canada or in the US where they stole the children's culture and tried to force them into another culture. It feels kind of like that for me, so that's why I don't really want to go. So.
Wow, waking up next to the beautiful Paraná River. Emily's making brekkie. What do we got, chef?
We got a fruit salad with some mango, pear, and banana. Maybe I'll put some seeds on it, make it a little bit more filling.
In the finest china.
I didn't know if we would finish it all, so I put it in this container, but I should have just put it in our finest china.
I'm just messing with you. Love the view here, though. Enormous river right there. And the animals are getting to go outside a lot. Sombrita. Buena chica. Oh, man. It's probably the most peaceful morning we've had in quite a while.
Oh, man. It's been so long since I've had a mango.
Well, I guess I might as well let you guys in on what broke this week.
What broke this week?
So we had to just shut off the inverter. It might happen again if I turn on. We have the remote switch here because it's actually mounted in the back here. You don't want to get in the trunk and dig through it every time you want to turn on your inverter. The problem, I don't know if it's the inverter or if it's the batteries. The thing will start beeping if I plug something into it right now.
And that's because there's no solar coming in. We're parked under these trees. And it seems that the inverter doesn't beep when you're using it if the van's on. So then you're getting the charging from the alternator that's connected through a smart battery isolator. Or when you're getting just hit with solar super strong. Right now it just happened. We're not even using it. We don't have anything plugged into it. So this inverter is the Xantrex pure sine wave inverter, the 1,000 watt. And actually after about a year in the van, we told it, this was what was happening. We said, hey, Xantrex, you know, this thing's under warranty. And they said, boom, we're going to send you a free one. These things aren't super cheap. I don't remember. It might be like $300 or more. Xantrex was honestly the highly recommended company I heard about. I thought I was getting the good one. I don't know what's going on, why this keeps happening. Next van, I definitely want to upsize to either a 1,500 watt inverter or 2,000 watt inverter. And when you get one that big, they usually come with a plug-in, so you can plug in to charge your batteries if you want. And then it's not called an inverter, it's called a converter. So that would be a combo, inverter converter. So something to keep in mind if you're designing a van, or just to know about these vans, that things always fail eventually. And even if you pay, you know, $120,000 to have a van from a factory, these kind of things are still going to happen. So I think the DIY saves a lot of money, and it's just nice knowing like how to take that thing out if I need to, and get a new one and install it.
So yesterday we were heading to the Che Guevara house after the Santa Cruz cross thing that we climbed. We got there around 5:30, and little did we know that they had just changed the hours to close at 5. So I'm gonna update iOverlander, but yeah, it's kind of a hard road, so it was a little upsetting. We decided that we were going to go to this campsite along the river, but on our way there, we saw the road and it was another like dirt road, and there's a whole bunch of people out and about, so we were like, are we even allowed to stay here? We came over to this other dip in the river. This one is actually a fishing club and a boat, like a nautical club, I guess, yacht club, I don't know. Basically, people have these big boats here and they are fishing, and I guess yesterday was a fishing competition that they had, which is kind of cool. But for us to stay here, it was 2,700 pesos. So that would be, with our current Western Union rate, it's $6.75 for both of us, so $3 each. Oh, I left the one window open so that the sun came through in the morning. Not too warm, but like just a little bit of light in the van. Oh, it was so amazing. It's just so quiet, and compared to sleeping in posadas, I feel like I finally got a good night's sleep. I was wondering if you could hear some Rita chewing on this bone in the background she found. So we have some pretty awesome, like, super Argentinian things. This big structure that I'm under right now is called a quincho, and basically every home has one. It's like a barbecue pit where they have their asados. It has a big barbecue that they put the coals in, and a big table that they can share the food with. They have usually a cutting board that they take the meat right off of, or the veggies right off of the grill, and put it onto a cutting board, cut it up, and then they put the big cutting board in the middle of the table. Everybody just like picks up what they want. It's a really cool community kind of event where you invite over your friends and your family, and you have a asado in the quincho. This is just an outdoor one. It's pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of them, and we basically rented this one for the night. We didn't make a asado or anything like that, but we were parking right next to it. There's a group of friends down the hill a little bit that just came up. They are having an asado. It's kind of early, so I'm honestly surprised that they're already cooking up. And I think they were here at like 9 o'clock cooking up. That's pretty cool that you spend your whole day outside, cooking with friends, and just, yeah, having a nice time. We're going to see Iguazu so soon. I'm really, really excited. I'm looking up a lot of videos and pictures about it, and it's so beautiful. And then also we're trying to learn a little bit of Portuguese so that we can get by. Like, whenever we go to a new country that we don't speak the language, we haven't done that with you guys. We typically learn like good morning, good afternoon, good night, and then some numbers, where's the bathroom, stuff like that. Everybody says that a lot of Brazilians speak Spanish, so I don't really think it's going to be too hard. Talking to like a kiosk person, trying to get a new SIM card, stuff like that. It's going to be really fun learning some new phrases in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. which I'm learning is pretty different from Portuguese.
Yeah, Emily's really getting a jump on the Portuguese. She's going to be better at me than the local language, huh? When they put an H next to another consonant, then it like completely changes the sound. So for the N, it becomes kind of like the Enye. The double R is like an H or something?
In Spanish, you don't say the Z. In Portuguese, you do. Brazil, not Brazil. I'm not an expert. I was just watching YouTube videos about it. I'm excited to get to Brazil. But today, we're going to start off heading to Che Guevara's house. So let's head there now. Sombrita made a friend here. And just for reference, this is a real pit bull. And that's Sombrita. She's way bigger. And she looks so different from this cutie girl. And this girl is so good. They've been trading bones back and forth. Ven aquí. Hola. Sombrita.
Well, we're taking advantage of the campground to fill our water. They say this is potable anyway, but Emily got this filter. This filter's cool, but it's like really annoying too. Because like we were able to take off this piece they had threaded on there and put ours, because then the filter fits on. But always some comes out the top, which I feel like not good about wasting water. And then you have to hold this thing here, do this. Whereas if it just screwed onto a hose, I could put it directly in the van. And honestly, we could use our hose right from here into the van. Then the water doesn't taste as good. So it's kind of nice to have the good tasting water and just go through all this. Yeah, next van, we'd like to get probably some inbuilt filters. Then we'd just use the hose and they'd get filtered while it went to the sink. Wow, so yesterday we got turned away because it was closed, but we came back because you gotta see this. This is the house of Che Guevara's family. This is actually their second home here, so we can show you there's a ruin of their first one over in the woods here, because, you know, Che Guevara is such a divisive figure. They had to take apart his house because, you know, it was like communist and people were so anti-communist at the time. Yeah, let's go check out this museum. Shows a bunch of cool stuff about Che Guevara. If you're not too familiar, there's a movie called The Motorcycle Diaries. When he was young, he went all around South America before becoming a guerrilla and helping to liberate Cuba, you know, liberating Cuba. So he was really about people's rights, about giving people the power, about revolution against these governments at the time who were so controlling. And, you know, obviously in Cuba, it didn't turn out too great. Now it's one of the poorest nations. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story about Che Guevara. Really interesting. For some people, he's a hero. For some people, he is evil. And the ranger actually told us kind of an interesting tidbit that because he did that huge motorcycle trip, they say he was one of the first motorcycle travelers, like an overlander, you know? And every weekend, a ton of motorcycle travelers come. He showed us the picture of yesterday, Sunday. So that's really interesting, you know, being an overlander, thinking about, you know, Che Guevara being the OG motorcycle traveler. And when we were in Cuba, you know, we were there when Obama made it legal for a little while. And they said, okay, if you're one of these 12 categories of people, you can go to Cuba. I went on my birthday, I think it was my 30th. I remember buying an ice cream, and our friend, through BMX, I had a friend there, awesome. He said, oh yeah, that's, you know, $1, but they have this $400 and a Cuban dollar that's 25 to 1. And I gave him like the real dollar. And the guy said, whoa, man, where in the world would an ice cream be worth $1? I said, where I'm from, it's $4. But yeah, that's how poor Cuba is, really. A 1/25 of a dollar for the ice cream there. So yeah, this is the second home of the Guevara family. And his son just recently died of a heart attack. But he visited here. The real first house was over there. We'll go check out the ruin. But check out this patio here. This is a beautiful place. I guess a ton of Argentinians come here to have a mate, huh? Over here you can see, really, this is the stunning part. You get the view of the river over here. And on iOverlander it said this is where Che was born. But the ranger actually gave me the truth, which was at the time there weren't even roads here. So the way they made this house and the way they would get around is going by that river there. And you could get all the way to Buenos Aires on the Paraná River, which of course is the river with Paraguay now. And at the time, it was just kind of like a no man's land. But the Argentinian government sent people here because a lot of people were coming from Europe. And so the government of Argentina would send them over here and say, oh yeah, there's cities, there's towns. But then they get here and there was basically like no infrastructure. The only way to get around was this river, which was pretty interesting because we were wondering like, why didn't they just build their house like in the town over there? Apparently it's because of this river. That's how everything was connected. Yeah. His mother was pregnant before they were married, so that's kind of why they came up here, because first of all, like Irish and Spanish, they weren't really like a condoned couple, and so they sort of decided to escape up to here. When it was time for him to be born, they did take a boat down to Rosario to, you know, have a doctor give the birth and everything, and then they came back and lived here. Do you think there's some kind of an animal up in there? What is that noise? Whoa, this is a pretty sweet little trail, huh? Switchbacks down to the river. Ooh, so this would be their dock back in the day. Whoa, almost fell.
Look at them, they're so pretty.
Wow, I'm so glad we were able to sleep next to this river last night.
Somebody's taking a swim. Look at all these mariposas. This is so pretty.
We're going on the Shea Jungle Trail here. So there should be the ruins of the house he lived in when he was just a baby and a young man. Wow, so this was Shea's house. And apparently they had to have it dismantled because there was such a strong anti-communist sentiment that anything related to Shea was dismantled systematically. And the family was able to live over there, you know. What do you think?
I mean, it's just so sad that there's only like little pieces left.
There you have it. Che Guevara's childhood home. Pretty interesting. This part of Argentina has got a lot of surprises for us.
Yeah, like just the fact that it's jungle. Whoa.
Yeah, all the soil is so red here.
Yeah.
It really feels like the Amazon, like the jungle. But there's not too many bugs. It's been good. Yeah, this is cool. Muchas gracias, Che. No.
That park ranger, he was so nice. His name was Diego, and he was showing us around the park. He kind of asked, like, what do estadounidenses think of Che Guevara? And then we were like, well, you know, there's a lot of Cubans. The Cubans that leave Cuba, they don't like Che Guevara.
He said that when he went to the States once, the park ranger at a park told him he couldn't go into the park with the Shea newspaper 15 years ago.
We started talking about the nature around the house, and he was talking about the different fruits. There's wild pineapples there, which was really cool. And they all have Guarani names, so the pineapple is ananá. Shoot, I don't remember what the oranges were called. So, as he was explaining all these things, he was pouring himself what looked like a mate, but it was like cold. So I was like, are you having a cold mate? And our friends told us about it before, how people would make themselves cold mate, but I never saw anyone making it before. So honestly, I was super stoked to try it. And he offered us some. The cold mate drinks are called
mate frío sería tereré.
Tereré.
Which is also a Guarani name.
So, since we've got to Argentina, the price of gas has changed and inflation has changed. It might be interesting. Let's see how much it costs to fill up this gas tank in Argentina currently. We'll do the math here. We are very empty right now. We got a 22-gallon tank. Let's see the cost. So this is Argentina's nationalized gas station, YPF. Okay, so it came to 13,200 pesos for 59 liters. We did the math, 59 liters for 13,200 pesos. Turned out to be $33 for 15.6 gallons, which comes to $2.11 a gallon. Pretty nice. You know, when the peso is changing value, it's feeling like more and more money to me. This time he had 13,000 pesos, but it was still just $2.11 a gallon.
Now that we've gotten to our spot for the night, we're going to head out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to support us a little bit more, head over to our Patreon. We'll see you next time.